Hello, this is Joe with FX Ventures. We're here to do another webinar for users and for our Facebook page, just to give people an update on how we're doing and where we're at. So let's get right into it. I'm here with Tiffany, and she's going to talk about some trades we took over the weekend and the past week. So let's switch right to the charts.
This first trade that we're going to show you, we actually took last week, and it was actually on April 4th, and it was a trade in the Euro US dollar. Basically, we identified right here a sell signal, which would be bar number 1, that we got in a sell position. We wrote it down to bar number 9, and at the close of bar number 9, we now go into our 13 count down to for the second cycle. So from here, we continued down, and then this was the non-farm payroll right in through here on Friday when the markets were closed. And then we saw kind of a basic sideways pattern from here. We decided on Friday to go ahead and exit our position right here so that we weren't holding over the long Easter holiday weekend. And with the Europeans markets closed on Monday, we thought it best just to exit the position with the profit that we had here of about 105 pips. From there, we did open up on Sunday night and went ahead and completed the pattern down to a completed 13, which is this bar here. Since that 13, as you can see, we've not come below that level as of yet. And so we're trying to consolidate here and kind of figure out what direction we're going to go from here. And with that, what we do is typically follow on a 15-minute chart just to give an idea of the direction that the hourly chart may go in. Joe is going to show us a little bit of what's going on the daily chart so that we kind of have a bigger picture as well of what's going on the euro.
As Tiffany said, as you can see that price held pretty steadily down here. It tested it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 times. This purple line you see on the chart is a line that I drew for the daily chart. The red line on the hourly is a long-term downtrend chart. So let me switch to a daily and show you what this looks like. As you can see, this is a price channel that this euro has been in going back to September of 2011, and when you had some sideways all the way back to June of last summer, almost a year ago now. But you've been in this downtrend channel, and it appeared at first that you were going to break out here, but you couldn't hold it. You had a break here and you couldn't hold it. Now you've come down again. So one of two things are going to happen. I've identified what appears to me to look like a head and shoulders pattern on the daily to the downside. And the way I did that was by taking, head and shoulders are usually symmetrical, meaning the shoulders usually appear at the same distances. So if you take this distance, you create another parallel line and you run that over this distance, as you can see, that's very close to being almost there to being in equal distance apart. But with that said, this long-term line is either going to hold and price is going to bounce back up, or it's not. And if you take another look at this, you can also see where this looks like it may be forming a coil or a symmetrical type pattern. You got rising lows and falling highs that are coming together at some point to creating an explosion up or down. Which way that is in the long-term chart, I don't know, but this is a significant, almost a year-long downtrend channel line. So if it would penetrate that to significantly and hold it, then you're to the upside. If not, and you penetrate this line, then using the measuring techniques, and you can look at this in any technical analysis book, but you use the measuring techniques and you can see where this goes if this breaks this line. You're down somewhere down here. So you're almost to the bottom of this trend channel. So direction is anybody's guess at this point. We're more concerned with the short term, but that's the longer term outlook, and that's what those lines are on the charts for. With that said, let's go back to the hourly chart. And now we're going to switch to the pound US dollar, which is another trade that Tiffany and I have identified. So let me reduce the time frame here and take a peek.
This is the pound US dollar. We actually took this trade last night. And it was what we identified here was a bar 13 to the upside on the pound. So once we have identified a 13, I also start looking on a 15-minute chart to make sure we have a 13 on the 15-minute chart as well. Once identified that both time frames have a 13, which tells us that the trend is getting ready to, it identifies trend exhaustion. Basically what I did at that point was we were starting to look for a sell signal. We got a sell signal here on this bar, and I waited just a few minutes to make sure we had a nice confirmation of that sell signal, which we did. Once we broke below here, this moving average, I went ahead and issued a trade alert. We got in the trade about here and then wrote it down. And as you know, for those of you who trade with us, we look for a very consistent pattern for the first 9 bars. After the first 9 bars, the countdown phase can be much slower, more sideways movement, but the first 9 bars or 9 hours, since we trade on an hourly chart, is the most critical. So at this point, we had a nice move down, and then for 2 hours had a brief rally. This bar number 8, ended up actually failing this morning, and a failure means that we go ahead and exit the trade. However, if you note, we got in about here, so we exited here. Even though it was a failure, it wasn't a loss. We still had a gain of about 25 pips, but it was a failure from the standpoint that we were unable to complete the setup. And if you notice, since then, this is a live chart, since then we've basically done nothing but just kind of go sideways. And what we're looking for is more consistent movements. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching kind of a couple trades that we've taken. And if you guys have any questions, please don't hesitate to email us. And if you'd like to check out our website to sign up for our alerts, we're at fxventures.net. And you can click here, sign up now, to get involved with our trading style. Thank you so much, everyone. I hope you have a great rest of the day or evening.